Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. OK, let's dive into creating a Flutter app that efficiently loads page JSON data into a list view with a detailed explanation and code examples. This tutorial will cover 1. Project setup and dependencies ***, creating a new Flutter project and adding the necessary HTTP client library. 2. Data model definition ***, defining Dart classes to represent the structure of the JSON data we'll be fetching. 3. HTTP request and data fetching ***, implementing the logic to fetch data from an API endpoint with pagination. 4. State management with changenotifier ***, using changenotifier to manage the loading state and data. 5. Building the list view with pagination ***, constructing the list view that dynamically loads more data as the user scrolls. 6. Error handling and loading indicators ***, implementing error handling and showing loading indicators to provide feedback to the user. 7. Code optimization and best practices ***, discussing optimization techniques and best practices for handling large data sets. 1. Project setup and dependencies. First, create a new Flutter project. Then, add the HTTP package to your pubspec.yaml file under the dependencies section. Run flutter pub-get in your terminal to fetch the dependencies. 2. Data model definition. Let's assume the JSON data we're fetching looks like this, a simplified example, but adaptable. Create a Dart class to represent each item. Create a new file named item.dart and paste above code. This class defines the structure of our data and includes a from JSON factory method for converting JSON data into Dart objects. 3. HTTP request and data fetching. Now, let's create a function to fetch data from the API. Create a new file named API_service.dart and paste above code. Important notes. Replace your _API _endpoint with the actual URL of your API endpoint. This endpoint should support pagination using page and pagesize parameters. This function makes an HTTP GET request to the API. It checks the response status code. If the request is successful, status code 200, it parses the JSON data using JSON decode and converts it into a list of item objects using the item.fromJSON factory method. It includes basic error handling for network issues and unexpected response codes. The try, catch block handles potential exceptions during the HTTP request. The function is async because network requests are asynchronous operations. The await keyword waits for the request to complete before proceeding. 4. State management with changenotifier. We'll use changenotifier to manage the state of our list view, the list of items, loading status, and error messages. Create a new file named item_provider.dart and paste above code. Key points. *_items, a list to store the fetched item objects. *_ is loading, a Boolean flag to indicate whether data is currently being loaded. *_error, a string to store any error message that occurred during data fetching. *_current page, an integer to keep track of the current page number. *_page size, an integer to specify the number of items to fetch per page. *_ more data, a Boolean flag to indicate whether there are more pages to load. *load data, this method fetches data from the API, updates the _items list, increments the _current page, and sets the _has more data flag accordingly. It also handles loading state and error handling. *notify listeners, This method is called after any state change to notify the widgets that are listening to this change notifier. Asterisk refreshed data. This method clears the existing data and resets the current page to refresh the list from the beginning. 5. Building the list view with pagination. Now, let's build the UI using listview and changenotifier provider. Key improvements and explanations. Asterisk changenotifier provider. Asterisk the changenotifier provider makes the item provider available to all descendant widgets in the widget tree. Asterisk consumer. Asterisk the consumer widget rebuilds whenever the item provider changes, allowing us to update the UI based on the loading state and data. Asterisk init state. Asterisk the load data method is called in init state to fetch the initial data when the widget is created. We use listen false to prevent unnecessary rebuilds in init state. Asterisk refresh indicator. Asterisk the refresh indicator allows the user to pull down to refresh the list, triggering the refreshed data method in the item provider. Asterisk conditional UI. Asterisk if there's an error, we display an error message. Asterisk if there are no items and not loading, we display no data available. Asterisk otherwise, we display the list view. Asterisk list view.builder. Asterisk item count. The number of items in the list is item provider.items.length plus item provider.has more data, 1, 0. We add 1 to the count if has more data is true, to display a loading indicator at the end of the list. Asterisk item builder. Asterisk if index is less than item provider.items.length, we display the item at that index. Asterisk otherwise, when we reach the end of the list, we display a loading indicator if is loading is true, or trigger load data, to load more data and display an empty widget. This effectively initiates the loading of the next page when the user scrolls to the end. 6. Error handling and loading indicators. The provided code already incorporates error handling and loading indicators. Asterisk error handling. Asterisk the item provider catches any exceptions during data fetching and sets the underscore error property. The UI displays an error message if underscore error is not null. Asterisk loading indicators. Asterisk a circular progress indicator is displayed while data is being loaded, when underscore is loading is true. Asterisk a load more indicator, a circular progress indicator, is displayed at the end of the list if there's more data to load, underscore has more data is true. 7. Code optimization and best practices. Here are some tips for optimizing your code and following best practices. Asterisk debouncing. Asterisk if you're triggering load data based on scroll events, consider debouncing the calls to load data to prevent excessive API requests. You can use the debounce package for this. Asterisk caching. Asterisk implement a caching mechanism to store previously fetched data. This can significantly improve performance, especially if the data doesn't change frequently. Use packages like shared underscore preferences or a more robust caching library if needed. Asterisk image optimization. Asterisk if your JSON data includes images, optimize the images for mobile devices. Use appropriate image formats, example WebP, compress images, and use image caching libraries to load images efficiently. Asterisk background loading. Asterisk consider using compute to perform data parsing in the background, especially if the JSON data is large or the parsing process is computationally expensive. This can prevent the UI from freezing. Asterisk error logging. Asterisk implement a proper error logging mechanism to capture and analyze errors that occur in production. Use packages like Sentry_Flutter or Firebase_Crashlytics for error logging. Asterisk code splitting. Asterisk for large applications, consider splitting your code into multiple modules to improve build times and code maintainability. Asterisk use provider correctly. Asterisk utilize provider. Of my provider, context, listen, false, when you only need to access the provider instance and do not want the widget to rebuild when the provider changes. This is important for functions called within init state or event handlers. Asterisk scroll controller. Asterisk although this example doesn't explicitly use a scroll controller, for more complex scrolling behavior, example jumping to a specific position, you might need to manage a scroll controller yourself. Complete code, with imports. Here's a complete, runnable example incorporating all the parts. Before running, remember asterisk. 1. Replace your _API _endpoint asterisk with a real API endpoint that supports pagination and returns JSON data in the format described in the data model definitions section. 2. Mock API. For testing, if you don't have a real API, you can use a tool like Mockun or create a simple Node.js server to simulate a paginated API for testing purposes. This detailed tutorial provides a solid foundation for building a Flutter app that efficiently loads page JSON data into a list view. Remember to adapt the code to your specific API and data model. Good luck.